Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BETSPERTS.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. You know what, Andy? Sometimes you catch the best of the number, and then Lance Stevenson goes off for 22 points in the quarter. And you
like
live with the
6 minutes.
consequences. It's been a weird one today in the NBA, as it has been for most of the month. A couple unders I have are looking decent, but not my Nets play. Not laying the points with the Nets right now. Wow. Kyrie Irving? Is Kyrie Irving a cancer?
Lance,
The people want to know.
people want to know, like, is it subtraction by addition? And in is Lance back? Is it now that
Patrick's comment?
Yeah,
I was stuck in detention at the Melbourne airport. Yes, I've been
Oh,
released.
the tennis community came together to make memes.
What
today,
a day!
and they were good. And yeah, we're not going to get into the politics of what Australia's doing, but it is hilarious that he was detained for a long time and then said to turn around. And yeah, I guess we are getting into the politics of this thing because I think it's funny that it became a completely non-COVID issue with Novak Djokovic. It became hey, we're making all the concessions in the world and going to give you special treatment. And then you effed up the visa paperwork, which I don't know, might not be the case, but it's what it's sounding like. You couldn't even do it all right. So, and the Aussie Open will still go on. Meds, Zverev, a bunch of other.
Dan, the first person on the internet to make the Novak Djokovic joke. Good job, Dan. Congratulations.
Dan.
We're saying your medal is in the mail. Good work by you.
I wonder, like, did they put him on? I hadn't heard what happened after. Did they put him on a plane and just ship him out?
I mean, technically, he can leave and come back in time to play.
Yeah,
if he gets his paperwork sorted out. I think I swear we talked about it on this show, probably one of the halftime shows.
Yeah.
When we were tipsy, or when I was tipsy, and I was basically like, what do you think of the possible outcomes here? He doesn't play, he plays, but they're up his ass, or he plays and there's, it's business as usual. And we talked about the possibility.
We kind of landed on him
him playing, and that they were going to be up his ass, and that sure feels that way. It could affect his performance. He's a creature of habit. Anyone who follows Novak knows this.
Affects my performance. In a positive way. And with that, we will move on to the NFL. Probably won't do a lot of Century Tournament. Logan was asking if we were going to do the Century Tournament of Champions. Why would I? I've got a guy on the ground. AD is working the tournament. He's shot linking it. He's pointing the laser at the greens to put where the ball lands.
Well, that's awesome.
Pushing a button. Yeah, he's I think he's pretty excited about working a tournament.
That's cool.
It made me think, like, I might try to go work the 3M. Like, the people that were doing that, they looked like they're. One guy was just driving a cart. He was like, "Hey, Matthew Wolf's on the back of my cart. I'm driving golfers around."
Dude, aim higher. I'm gonna hold up the 3M would be cool, but I feel like you should aim higher.
Well, no, I mean that's you don't want to start it like the Masters. But I'd have to, how do you get to Carnegie Hall, Drew?
How do you get to Carnegie Hall? I assume you make a right on Broadway. You go down.
Practice.
Oh, practice. That's right.
Yes. So, I mean, I'll start with the 3M and work my way up to the one of the big ones.
That. But, I like it.
Yeah. Hey, the slate kind of sucks. There's news. I think, throughout the season, you follow the injury news. In years like this, you follow the COVID news. Obviously, you follow, the matchups, the numbers, the market, the pricing, how these teams are going to play each other, motivational rest angles, situational groups. This week, it's listening to the coaches. Add that to the repertoire because you're quickly getting numbers that are moving based off things that coaches are saying. And a lot of it is just, it comes down to players coming out, but you're hearing it first from some of them where like, hey, guess what? We're not playing any of these guys. Boom. If you want to bet into a shitty game against backups, you certainly can, and you're going to get a better number if you are quick on the trigger on some of these. And it's an interesting week in that light. But there are 4 or 5 games that have some playoff ramifications, and we'll certainly be tuned in for those.
Oh yeah, there's some good ones. There's some games that matter for win totals and alt win totals. That's important. There's some games that matter for player milestones and bonuses. You got all those boxes checked, Andy?
Antonio Brown's only yards, catches, and touchdowns away from getting some. He's not cut yet. What if he plays?
That would be an upset.
That's happening.
That would be an upset.
In the time between Bruce Arians saying he's no longer a Buck and now, where he is still on the team technically, our friend Novak flew from Serbia to Australia and back.
Oh my God. Did he?
I don't know, man.
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked that any more crazy stuff gets reported. I would believe it. I'm ready to believe it.
It's going to get his dad to come back. They're going to fight. Dad was crazy.
They're going to taking it to the streets.
Taking it to the streets.
Let's talk a little bit about Week 18.
Yeah,
and let's mix in some thoughts about the playoffs along the way, because that's much more what I'm interested in talking
There's
about.
There's going to be a few games where we just gloss.
There's a game that kicks off the action on Saturday. So for the first time ever, we have a Week 18. And for the first time ever, we have Week 18 Saturday games. They did not want to concede that space that they had of Wild Card Weekend, this first Saturday of January. So they threw a couple of meaningless games out there so they can keep that space. And this week's games kick off with Chiefs at Broncos, which Broncos, if you have not heard, have been eliminated, which means this is, a question mark about how much the Chiefs care to win. Andy, what is your favorite saying about the NFL this time of year when it comes to sports betting?
Must win does not equal must cover. Or would like to win. That's kind of that's a theme this week.
Would prefer to win does not equal will cover.
There's a bunch of teams who are big fucking favorites over worser teams and would be advantageous to their playoff positioning, or in the Colts case, even getting in if they were to win. That is to say, nothing in the bylaws of the NFL or the playoff rules and tiebreakers. I shouldn't say that, actually, truthfully. Like, seventh tiebreaker is like point differential. We're not going to get to any of those this year, though. I do remember one year that almost came into play, but nothing in the rules says you have to cover this game. They do not need to beat anyone by 17. Winning by 8.
Can the Chiefs recover the 1 seed with style points in this contest?
Yeah, I don't think it's that only works on like Tony Hawk.
Oh, okay.
Great game.
That said, this has been bet out in favor of the Chiefs. I'm guessing it's because they have more to play for. In general, the Chiefs have handled the Broncos pretty convincingly on the road throughout the Mahomes and Andy Reid era. This is not a place that they go and stub their toe usually. Chiefs, I would imagine, in the same sense, I'm going to say this about a couple other teams. If I'm in that locker room, if I'm trying to get this team fired up, I am literally not like, hey, we have nothing to play for. We're going to give guys time off in this contest. I am literally like, last week was an embarrassment. You guys lost to a team. This is our dress rehearsal. We are getting, we are trying to come out sharp. We're trying to build a little momentum here. We are not losing 2 games in a row on our way into a playoff contest in a very competitive AFC. Is that crazy?
I might play all of these games, the games I'm going to deem this team should win, but they're laying a big number. I might play all the favorites in the first quarter, but then take the points for the game. Just, give me Chiefs -1.5 first quarter, and then Broncos +10.5.
Okay, as we go through, you tell me which other ones qualify, and we'll just keep track of that, because I like this angle a lot. Honestly, I'm gonna have
to actually bet it too, just so that helps me track it.
I'm not saying this because I'm not going to track it by actually making these bets and seeing how it plays out. No matchup advantages here for Denver. Drew Lock is an atrocity. Kansas City can do exactly what the Chargers did last week. 10 points is fair. 44.5 is high. I can see both the spread and the total coming down to garbage time points for Denver. Passing.
Yep. KC first quarter, Denver plus 10.5 for me. Small bets. Just 'cause it's a shtick. I'm going to do all these.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out. 0.1 units.
Does Dallas qualify? Because Dallas also coming into this game against Philadelphia, not only with an advantage in terms of first team players available, but coming in off a loss. And that was a pretty sad way to end what was a nice little streak of momentum you had going. Yes, so much for momentum. So much for Dallas is the best defense in the NFL. So much for Dak Prescott's comeback player of the year. A lot of things went sideways for Dallas last week against Arizona. Do they come in with a little bit extra sauce, a little bit extra nutmeg, especially early in this game?
I'm leaving this one off because Philly can move around in the seeding a little. Like a win behooves them as well. It would it should all but lock them into a 6 seed because the Niners, they have the tiebreaker over the Niners right now, and they would certainly have that after that. How are the Saints still in the playoff mix? That's something. And with the Niners, we'll get to the Saints Niners thing. I think that might get dirty. No, I do believe the Cowboys will play well. Like you said, it is probably a nice, hey, let's bounce back against a division foe that we can certainly match up well with here. And although, Philly's not the same team they were earlier in the season either. The playoff team. This is something. We joked about this, and I think we made the wrong call. We said, would you rather bet Eagles to make the playoffs or Sirianni Coach of the Year? And I think we veered. I think we veered towards Sirianni, and
no. Let me recorrect.
I'm going to go listen to that preview.
Let me correct the record. The conversation revolved around to win the East or Coach of the Year. Yeah, those two prices. Yeah. It was like 5-1 to win the East or 50-1 to win Coach of the Year. And pretty clearly we said.
Did we just say make the playoffs then, or did we say?
Well, make the playoffs actually was not great. It was not an especially good price.
I feel like the price was bad in the NFC East ones. And we said avoid it.
Our guy signed collectibles one. Came to the table with, hey, is Philly a good play to make the playoffs at plus 250-ish mid-season? And we said yes. And that looks good right now because they are in the playoffs. So that was a win. If Philly wins this game, in order to get the 6th seed, they need the Rams to win, and they need the Atlanta Falcons to beat. Yeah. Oh, actually, that's inconsequential. They just need the Rams to win. Philly wins, Rams win, they get the 6. Yeah.
So Philly plus Rams equals 6. Not a dead game for them, but a tough one, and they do have some COVID in camp. So
if they get to that 6th seed, they will be certainly facing Tampa Bay. If they are in the 7th seed, they could be facing the Rams, the Cardinals, the Cowboys again, or Tampa Bay. If you are Philly, what path do you choose? What of those 4 teams do you want to most excited to face in the
I'd like to play the Cardinals.
Oh.
Bad head coach, younger quarterback, kind of matches up with you. Your defense is used to chasing around a mobile quarterback in practice. I don't know. It's all tough. Like you're the 7th seed probably. Like you're not going to get an easy game. They're all tough. So probably Arizona out all that, or maybe Dallas. Just some familiarity with it.
Okay. I'm still I need to turn off my NBA tracker. The fucking Nets are just getting their asses handed to them by the fucking Pacers. Embarrassing.
Evergreen comment by you.
Embarrassing stuff. Fuck the fucking Pacers. Fuck that fucking team. What's the saying?
That's Noops.
What is this saying?
I'll find it. If anybody here watches Brown Bag or knows Alex Noops from anything else, there's a DM from him. He talked himself. He said, I'm not betting the Pacers for like 2 days, and then he did it anyway. And he was so mad. And he wrote, just fuck the fucking Pacers and a lot more F words. And somebody screenshotted it, and now we send it Now he said every time
Anytime the
any-
Pacers
any-
do something good or bad.
Yeah, anytime the
That gets
Pacers do
most-
anything.
Yeah, that gets mostly.
It
All
lives
right,
in immortality.
let's move on to Sunday, and let's start with the Browns and the Bengals, which is a funny matchup because both teams are incentivized to lose this game.
Yeah.
Now hang with me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you already.
The Browns are a sharp organization with plus EV decision making, and they are inclined to get everybody in a room and say, "You will lose this game because it's a meaningful swing for us from a draft choice standpoint if you lose versus win." There's nothing at stake for them to win.
Can you do that?
The Philadelphia Eagles did it last year.
See, but they did not do that. I don't think they sat down and
They
talked to
pulled the
anybody.
rug.
Yeah, I think
no.
I
Management
don't-
told Peterson, don't you dare play Hurts.
No, that's what I'm saying is I don't think you go like when you were doing that, I was picturing you in the locker room saying that to players.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
I don't
Management
know. Okay,
management
okay.
says it to coaching.
No,
Yeah.
I would believe that. Yeah, and I mean I'll really believe it if the Browns signed Sudfeld during the week here. But yeah, no, that's how you do it. You play whoever's behind. Who is behind Case?
It's the great Nate Mullins.
Garrett Gilbert?
No, it's the great Nate Mullins.
Nate Mullins.
Which is
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins, which is a problem because both Case Keenum and Nick Mullins
Not that much different.
better than what we've seen from Baker these
Maybe.
last handful of weeks.
So,
probably better.
By starting Baker, you're tanking.
Honestly,
real.
what you want is you want to have him have surgery on Friday and then put him out there on Sunday. that's the best case scenario for you.
Lord of mercy.
No, I mean realistically, there's no incentive here for the Browns to run the good plays. They just want to kneel, get this over as quickly as possible, get no one hurt, no long-term injuries, no lost draft status. The Bengals, on the other hand, they win. They're a 3 seed. And you know what the path is for a 3 seed? You draw the Indianapolis Colts likely in the wild card round, and then you pack up your bags and you head to Cincinnati for a rematch of a game that you just won, albeit dubiously by many of those in the handicapping community. Felt like that was so unfairly officiated that the scales got tilted balance-wise.
See that account? I think I went back and looked at his stuff. I'm not sure if he's unbiased. It seemed like he was trying to do a good enough job, but I mean, I think you can take a look at the calls that refs make, and you could look at other people's charting and say like, what kind of win percentage difference did that call make? You don't have to say, was it a good call? Was it a bad call? You can say the call existed, and since it was a big pass interference call. Mm-hmm. On a drive where you were driving for the lead, it was a 40% swing and win probability or something. You can say that with fairly confident empirical evidence. And I think like the charts that he had, I just from a 1,000 to or 10,000 yard point of view or whatever, how you say it, 10,000 feet, yards. I went 3 times as much as I needed to. You can say like, yes, that game was highly influenced by penalties. You don't have to say they were bad penalties or one team was favored. It was just because penalties played a big part in that win. And that was something.
And honestly, the way the game was being called, I felt like affected the decision-making of the Bengals coaches in terms of what they called. Definitely felt it affected the decision-making of Joe Burrow in terms of who he was targeting. And in general, I thought that most of the win probability added was on that final 4th down call, which was the correct call. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, that was not an incorrect call. If you swallow the whistle in that moment, then the Bengals have about a 40% chance to win the game. If you call the penalty, then they have 100% chance. So it's an enormous high leverage penalty, but it was a penalty. Like, there were other kind of questionable ticky-tack type of calls in that game, but I thought it went both ways for most of the game. And honestly, this is the other thing that I'm kind of all fucked up about with the referees this year. Like, I've smart people that really care about the game, that understand it well, that had no skin in the game, were like, that was one of the worst officiated games of the season.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, you know what? That's where we are.
Yeah,
like it did not feel like one of the worst officiated games. It felt like, no, this is where we are.
It didn't feel like it was inconsistent or horrible. It just felt like it happened in bigger spots. It's like if if a guy's foot's on the line for a 3-pointer and they call it a 3-pointer and that team, it's in the first half and that team loses by 30, we're not talking about that play. If it happens, let's say that Durant 3-pointer that wasn't in the playoffs,
Game 7, and the team is down 2, and it's a difference
then
between
we're talking
tying and going to overtime or winning and moving on to the next round. It's a big deal.
That's the big deal. So no bet here. I kind of actually, even though it's 38, I kind of like the under, just because since he's going full ass backups, who knows what that looks like. It could be a pretty run heavy game. I'm going to be mostly looking for the next 2 days at golf and player props for the weekend. I mean, just golf and player props. That's kind of where we're at for this weekend.
I like it, man. Okay.
And first quarters.
This one's obviously a no bet. I'm curious.
Real quick question from Dan too.
Yeah.
Does taking the starters out hurt or help Taylor's Coach of the Year chances? I mean, you can't hold anything in this game against him. In fact, in your mind, in kind of a fucked up way, it's like, oh man, this team was so good that he was able to take his starters out and rest them. You know who else did that? Tony Dungy.
Yeah, right. A win without them helps him. A loss without them hurts him, because people will look at the standings and be like, God,
I mean, it's still
wow, it's amazing that they won their division, but it was the worst division in the AFC. They got the 4th.
It really was.
That's what people will think. And a loss secures them the 4 seed, but at the same time, what does the 4 seed get you? A matchup with the Patriots, and then you go to Tennessee Titans.
Did you see Tennis Sangren's tweet?
Oh God!
Because he's obviously injecting himself into the. Well, he's
injecting himself. Oh, Andy, nice work, nicely done. Nicely done.
He's injected himself into the conversation because he's clearly very pro whatever Novak stands for. He says, "I've never been followed by more people named Luka with a K in my life." Like he's got the whole Serbian country following him now.
Like, oh yeah, we like this guy, Tennis Sangren.
Yeah. Maybe he moves. Yeah. Maybe he moves to Serbia after this.
Are you smelling what I'm smelling? Donkey cheese sponsorship.
Donkey cheese
yes. Let's sell some donkey cheese. Tennis Sangren. I like it, man. All right.
Washington, New York. Now there's a little bit of stink on this one.
Two more important.
Oh my God.
Actually, I'm sorry. Three more important things about the Bengals before we move off this game.
All right.
Sign collectibles brings up a great point. Does Burrow's comeback play of the year chances get dinged by him not playing in this game? Mm-hmm. That's the first question. Jamar Chase, rookie of the year. Zach Taylor, coach of the year. They're not giving the Bengals 3 awards. Who is left out of the mix here? Is it 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3?
I think it's Burrow. Burrow's odd man out. Burrow's first one out, I think.
Just because people are so inclined to give it to Dak.
Yeah, I think that was just decided so early. And I really like if Chase is out and if the Patriots really put a throttling on and it is predicated around the passing game, maybe that would be a really bad week for Chase to be out. But man, you need some things to happen. Like you kind of outlined it on Twitter what would need to happen there. So yeah, I'm thinking if you gave me the choice between the 3, first one out is Burrow for me. Although he has been electric.
But realistically, in terms
he's the most deserving of the award.
And he's gonna get left out.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
The code switch tweet was electric though too.
Also, you want to know something fucking really amazing about Mac Jones. He
trying to think of something.
No, he gets beat out by a wide receiver for Heisman last year.
I had that ticket too, 25-1.
He gets yep. He gets beat out in the national championship game MVP by a wide receiver, and now potentially gets beat out for offensive rookie of the year.
Is it Waddle?
A wide receiver.
Or did Jones win that too?
Smith won both. Smith won both. Yeah. Smith had 3 touchdowns, catches, and almost literally
he's good though.
It's such a similar stat line to what Chase just did. that it's like literally like another 200-yard 3-touchdown game by a wide receiver is going to cost Mac Jones an accolade. I, I don't know what to say, man. It's tough. It's tough being Mac Jones.
Awards markets are tough. Don't put a big chunk of your bankroll on these. They're fun.
Wild, man.
They're fun to talk about, but boy, sitting with a decent sized ticket all year and sweating it is not for the faint of heart. Washington football team. It's gonna have a new name. I don't know what did they do to get in trouble this week where they had to they did the Sean Taylor thing to hide the stink of whatever scandal was happening that week.
Oh, they're trying to overshadow Groundhog Day.
Is it the collapse of the so everybody saw the bleachers?
Oh, that is what
everybody saw the bleacher collapse video. Did you see the sewage water video where there's people in the second level, like a pipe burst above them, and you hear somebody in the video saying, like, that's sewage. Like, it wasn't clean water, it was gray water. And yes, everybody knows their stadium does suck. And they had zip tied that railing together though, so things are looking up in our nation's capital. But yeah, no playoff scenarios here. The Giants are piss poor, and everybody knows it but Joe Judge. And I don't think Ron Rivera likes what was said. And I'm not a big play on motivation guy, but if Washington was playing to win in a regular middle of the season game, if these two teams were at this point in their, how they're playing, and it wasn't a dead game like this, middle of the season, like they both had something to play for still.
Yep.
I'm taking Washington here. Like Ron Rivera he's pissed, and they're better, and they're home. Or they're not home, I guess. It is in the Meadowlands. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Can you riddle me what the did you listen at all to our buddy Brinson's rant?
Oh, I haven't had a chance.
Did you listen to the Joe Judge thing?
Yeah.
Can you give me a Cliff Notes?
He's unhinged. I mean, he thinks he's like a very good coach. He said some bad things about Rivera. The quote about like how other players were calling him from other teams and saying how they still wish they played for him. Like he said some loony shit. And for a guy who's, what outside of Zimmer and Nagy, who else is that close to being fired? Probably him.
Any other ownership group he's done. Yeah.
Yeah, the Maras are an odd bunch. I'd give him a medium soda and send him on his way.
Nagy.
Zimmer, Nagy are like my two for sure's.
If I'm a coach and I'm sweating bullets, my name is Zimmer, number 1, Nagy, number 2, David Culley, number 3.
Oh, good point. No, David Culley is not.
Rule number 4.
Culley, they said they're bringing him back. They've given him a little bit of a. Yeah, I don't know if it's like the full like
vote of confidence they're bringing him back.
But there was
the dreaded vote of confidence for Culley.
It was remember the Fisher vote of confidence. It doesn't always work out, but Rule's my number 3, I think. Rule, and then Dan hits on Fangio. I don't think they're very happy with what's going there either. So probably those
Fangio.
4 I think are gone, and I don't know if it'll be a firing. I think it might be a conscious uncoupling in Seattle.
Oh, is there steam there?
There's a little bit of talk of everybody, like just
clean slate,
ownership, coaching, just kind of redoing it. I don't think it's a high probability, but there's never been right now. Isn't it the sister?
Paul Allen's sister or family or daughter?
I think Paul Allen's sister took ownership after he passed.
That always. I'm never gonna get all that. Like Denver and Seattle are in the same situation where it's just like ownership is wishy-washy enough that I just don't know if they're gonna actually make a move one way or the other. Oh, man, there's a lot of bad coaches in the NFL. That's what I'm getting at. Just kind of reliving all this because honestly. Art Smith did not cover himself in glory this year. I've seen enough from a lot of these guys, Joe Judge inclusive. I don't need to bring back Joe Judge. I've seen enough. Yeah. This is rough. Okay. No play for me.
I'm gonna bet this one.
Washington Giants.
I think Rule has proven he's a clown show. Like, the Brady firing, and it sounded like Tepper was not happy with what's going on there.
Good, but he shouldn't be. He sounds like a rational human. Tennessee takes on the Houston Texans. Tennessee is 10-point favorites. Texans love to play spoilers, and stop me if you heard this one before. Chiefs fans talking themselves into the 1 seed is not wrapped up yet, because 2 years ago we were sure they were going to be the 3 seed, because all New England had to do was go down to Miami and beat the pants off of the sad, pathetic Dolphins, who they were like 20-point favorites against. And the Dolphins won. What are the chances that the Texans play spoiler in the spot? Texans obviously are playing for a draft pick. They do have their first-round draft pick for the first year in many a moon. They will be making a first-round pick this year. They probably don't want that pick to be at the bottom half of the top 10. However, this Texans organization is pretty stupid, so maybe they do end up accidentally winning. I don't know. What's your real read on this game? And realistically, give me your general temperature on the Titans' playoff prospects. Are they overrated, underrated, or fairly priced right now?
I think fairly priced. Some people are saying the number's a little long for someone who's a very likely 1 seed. I don't know if we've seen a 1 seed that was up with a price this big, maybe ever. And I don't think we have a big enough sample size of the 1 seed being a clear advantage, with the getting rid of the 2 seed having a bye, having the 1 seed home field throughout, plus the only team of the bye hasn't been long enough to have a good sample. But even going back to just the old style, like a 1 seed with these kind of odds feels like, hey, automatically my brain says, hey, maybe they're a little underrated. But we've seen it. They had that really nice stretch in the middle of the season. They got beat up. I don't know. Derrick Henry looks tiny. Like he's doing the opposite of whatever our guy Zion's doing, where he is not he quickly losing mass. But Tennessee, I guess we'll see. Like, the people who are really behind Vrabel as a coach of the year candidate, this is a prove it, get a win here, get a couple wins in the playoffs, take a team one step further. I think the price is probably right. I'm not excited about I gotta fade these guys, because Vrabel has some experience now. He's been to the playoffs a few times. Tannehill's been to the playoffs a few times. They're getting healthy. They're getting some players back. I'm fine with the price, I guess. Okay. I think they win. I will be on Titans first quarter and Texans +10.
Yeah, for those who didn't catch what you mentioned, Derrick Henry's always been a guy that has had a little bit of a small lower body. Maybe that's why they call him Tractorcito, the little tractor, instead of what's the large tractor in Spanish?
Tractor Mayor. Tractor
Mayor. No. Tractorcito. Tractor. Anyway, they call him Tractorcito.
Tractor is even Spanish.
Tractorcito is definitely Spanish, isn't it?
Oh, tractor in Spanish is tractor. I bet they say it with a little more flair than we do. Tractor.
Tractorcito. You gotta roll your R. That's how you know it's Spanish. Tractorcito.
Oh, Tractorissimo.
Tractorissimo.
That's large tractor. Oh man, yes, from music.
Man, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, like from musical, reading music. I played the French.
They don't call him Tractorissimo. They call him Tractorcito. Maybe it was because he's always had a small lower body. But I gotta tell you, the video that we've seen from him in the last 24 hours, he has lost everything. A lot of weight, and that is not a great sign if he is expected to come back and be his normal dynamic self. So, in general, I think I would not count on contributions from Henry in the playoffs. Personally,
yeah, the KHL has a tractor and a locomotive.
Ooh,
heavy into the kids.
Well, it's a big part of the Soviet. It's a big part of the Soviet culture. Is look how industrial and impressive we are. Yeah, look how industrially impressive we are. So I mean Tennessee. I'm not saying in the same sentence that it's not a guarantee that Cincinnati goes to Tennessee and gets the win. But I'm just saying, like, your probability of getting to the AFC title game is substantially higher if you're Cincinnati and you're the 4 seed and your path goes through Tennessee than if you have to go back and beat Kansas City again on their turf. Because this is a more clear way to make this point, Andy. Cincinnati at Tennessee, coming off a bye, is what price? By
one more time. I was reading comments.
Cincinnati is plus what on the road in Tennessee, divisional round of the playoffs?
I don't know, field goal.
Mm-hmm. Cincinnati is plus what in Kansas City?
I mean, even with the win, I'd still probably put it at like the 4.5.
7. It's 7.
Is it 7?
It closed 3.5.
Oh wait, no, it was in. So this is in Kansas City.
In Kansas City, yeah. I'm saying since you got to go to Kansas City.
Yeah, you flip it another 2 to 3. So 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. Yeah. And honestly, they juice it to 7 because of the experience, because of the people who are going to run in the window and bet revenge, all that bullshit.
I just got a text from the wife here because we delve into movies quite a bit. Kids watch the movies we grew up with, and they don't realize that they're from forever ago.
Sure.
And
they're like, where are their cell phones?
Yeah, well, no, my wife or my daughter has been watching a bunch of Brat Pack stuff from the 80s. And my wife just texted that she was very disappointed to find out that Anthony Michael Hall is 53 years old. Like she just assumed he was still young. So I think somebody has a crush on Michael, which I don't blame her.
I thought you were gonna say he was very disappointed in Anthony Michael Hall and the date rape thing from the that one movie.
Oh God, yeah, I know. Hopefully she's watching on TV where they edit some of that.
Yeah, that'd be better.
That's all I have to say about that game.
Yeah, no, Bengals win probability just by market is markedly higher, even facing a Tennessee team at home coming off of the bye, than it would be if they had to go to Kansas City.
Yep,
those are the rules. I don't make them.
It's not. It's the same thing we run into with, the lack of understanding about betting in some of the media, where you have stuff like this happens, and Tennessee will be hosting a game, and if they win it, they'll be like, or if they lose, it'll be this major upset, even though they were 3-point underdogs to Kansas City or something. Like, because they were the 1 seed. There, it happens in March Madness every year where there's a 7-10, and the 10's a 6-point favorite. There
were people who did that for the college football, reflecting on the season, biggest upset of the year, or the number 6.
Oh, it was Cincinnati over Notre Dame.
Yeah, they were
2-point favorites.
All right, let's move on to Indianapolis at Jacksonville. I was doing some prep for this podcast. I was going through my trends, which is a huge element of my handicapping process, is going through the trends. Did you know, Andy? I'm not sure you heard this before. It's maybe new to you. This is deep dive stuff here. Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014.
You're putting that out there as a laugh. Let's all have a giggle at the trend community, Andy. But I saw that the Chiefs had not won in Cincinnati since 1984. What happened last week?
They lost.
They go to Sketty Town, lose.
Yeah, they lost. The Queen City. They
I
can't win.
really don't think that applies to 15-point favorites. I will be playing the Colts first quarter and the Jaguars plus 15. Yeah. I think the Colts, again, if you want to run on this team, you're going to run on this team.
Yeah.
It's been a fine defense at times when it's matched up against a team that's on its, up here. And it plays a lower level team. We've seen some decent drives, at least, from the defense. This defense isn't going to hang with just getting pounded by, both of the running backs. Honestly, this offensive line throwing pancakes, and it should just be. This total is probably a little high.
I agree. I didn't play it, but I agree with you. Carson Wentz
called it Sketty Town.
Carson Wentz is a mess. Carson Wentz is a mess. Jonathan Taylor should have a very, very, very effective day. I don't think the Colts hang 50 on the Jaguars like Mac Jones and the Patriots, because Carson Wentz, he's no Mac Jones. And realistically, Frank Reich is a great coach, but he's no Bill Belichick. And I think ultimately this is probably a competitive game for at least a quarter, maybe a half. 44 is a little bit aggressive here because Jaguars offense has been poor of late. Last thought here. I will cheer for the Jaguars in spirit, having no stake whatsoever in this game, one way or the other, because it really does unlock so much chaos in the AFC. And chaos, week 18, is fun. We don't want just everything to be relatively predictable. We want to create opportunity in the market because nobody saw this coming. And Jacksonville over Indianapolis would do that. Although I know you have some Colts numbers that you wanted to just see them win and get in, right?
It'd be nice if they get like one playoff win. I think we can make some money off it at that point.
What's your preferential matchup for the Colts?
Doesn't matter. Any team in the NFC as they take on them in the Super Bowl.
What's your preferential wild card matchup?
I mean, it's really, really seeming like it's gonna be Bengals, doesn't it?
Yeah, you want the rookie quarterback. You don't.
I think I'm fine with that.
Sorry, not the rookie. You want the debutant. You
So
want the playoff debutant.
young quarterback,
The
a
playoff
bad
debutant.
That's what we're saying too. A young quarterback. We want to bet against a young quarterback who is electric and is very much going to be a force, and a bad coach. I was about to say who's likely going to win Coach of the Year. This is how much betting is separated from the reality of the awards markets.
I know it, man.
Something, but yes, it is proven.
You don't want to go up against Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. You don't want to go up against Daboll and Josh Allen. You want Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor. That's the combo that you're preferring.
It is, yeah. And Joe Burrow's played in big spots. He played in the biggest possible spot in the college. He played an SEC schedule. He's played his second year now. It's still the NFL playoffs. Like, that's tough. You got a much better coach than Frank Reich. So I would love to take on Cincy as hot as they are right now. Everybody in the AFC is like, what are your other options? KC and Buffalo. I mean, it's a horse apiece. They can take on anybody.
Okay. All right. You don't want another match against Buffalo, who you were so dynamic against. That's not your
in Buffalo, huh?
In Buffalo, where you just went.
They're an outdoor team.
You just took them to town in Buffalo.
God, would that be? The Colts would have to take on Tennessee second. I like that matchup. Oh, and then Buffalo and give me Bengals, Titans, Buffalo, Niners in that order.
I love it. Last comment on this game. There's one thing I desperately need.
Burrow rushing yards.
Nope. Close.
Oh, that was Trevor.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence rushing yards. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
You want to know how many I need?
62. I have
9.
no idea. 9 rushing yards.
You need 9 rushing yards from Trevor Lawrence. What are the chances that I get 9 rushing yards from Trevor Lawrence? I have 325.5 to this point in the season. He is at 317.
I remember that. That was a fun bet.
It was a fun bet.
We wish you the best of luck of that. Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Just give me 9, Trevor, please. 1 scramble. That's all I need. Ooh, Hef needs 12.5. Give us 13 rushing yards. Trevor.
Just knock off like a 30-yarder in the second quarter, though.
Oh, I forgot. Wait. What are we up to right now? KC, Indy? Who else?
KC,
Tennessee?
Indy, and Tenny.
Okay, so 3 of them.
Write this down too.
Wait, Tennessee won last week, though, didn't they? Yeah, they won last week.
They don't have to have lost last week. It's just a team that could, with a big double-digit favorite, that could use the win against a shit team that's out.
Okay. All right.
So I'm not including Dallas. Pittsburgh and Baltimore is technically not a game that doesn't matter. And since it's going to be played at the same time as the Indy-Jacksonville game, I guess unless they're scoreboard watching, Pittsburgh won't know. Or is there something that Saturday they can? KC at Denver can't do anything. I think, they need Jacksonville to win. They need to win the game. And is that it? An Indy loss. Oh, and then Las Vegas and the Chargers can't tie. because of the weird tie thing. So Pittsburgh will be playing for something because they will not know that Jacksonville is lost by 13 points at that point. And I mean, so maybe a competitive effort there, but man, Ben, if that was Ben's effort in his farewell tour, what do we expect here? It's not something you want to see.
No.
Nuga.
I will use this time to say that there are two important things to watch for in the NBA. You know, one of them is Golden State Warriors third quarters. That is exploding right now. They have scored 15 points in 3 minutes in the start of the third quarter. Philadelphia 76ers have really dialed in on the fourth quarter for whatever reason. That team really comes out and plays hard in the fourth quarter. All that said, Pittsburgh at Baltimore, no love lost between these two teams. Did you know that, Andy?
When these two teams get together, you're going to throw out the records because they're embarrassing.
8-7-1, 8-8. Throw them out. Combined, these teams will finish under 500, no matter what. No, they're going to finish. They're going to finish over 500 because of the 8.
Oh yeah, the tie.
7-1, the tie. Yeah. All right. Well,
even if they tie, yeah, they both have to lose.
Does Tomlin care about this game? I mean, obviously, both these teams care about this game because neither is technically eliminated. But does Tomlin's riding this no losing record thing?
Which he'd still maintain. He would not. It'd be a
still
500. He'd somehow get a 500 record. Yeah.
In a 17-game season, he manages to get a 500 record.
We haven't seen this much because the Steelers have made the playoffs quite a few times.
Wait, why are the Ravens 5.5-point favorites? Is that right? Or are they 5.5-point dogs?
No, they're 5.5-point favorites.
Why is that?
I guess, because Baltimore, I don't know. Baltimore's even more eliminated, really. I haven't seen the quotes on this, like what's going on with it sounds like Lamar's playing, and I guess take yourself back mid-season when Baltimore was the 1 seed and everybody was healthy. What would you have made this number in Baltimore? It's like a 6, So, I mean,
but that was when the Ravens had a defense that was healthy as well.
Yeah, but somebody in the chat already pointed this out, Steven, thank you. You beat Baltimore by throwing it deep. Ben used up the last 3 shreds of any ligaments in his arms, throwing 3 bad deep balls last week. That's not something they're able to do. So I guess I'd take the points with the Steelers, but
is Najee Harris close to a rookie rushing record?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't look at
Najee Harris, he set the new Steelers rookie rushing record, but do you want to guess who holds the current most rushing yards by a rookie running back in a season?
Probably God, who won rookie of the year? Not Saquon a couple years ago, but a few years before that.
Zeke when he tied with Dak.
Zeke had a very good rookie year.
That was a 1,600-yard season.
Jesus,
1631.
really?
And
is that the record?
No, he's number 3 in the books, behind George Rogers of the Saints in 81.
Oh, yes.
Eric Dickerson of the Rams went for 1,800 yards his rookie season.
In rec specs,
and has scored 18 rushing touchdowns. What a great year, man.
Fucking good fantasy year.
You know what I forgot to mention about Jamar Chase?
Jesus.
He did not set the rookie receiving record. Did you know that?
Oh, do tell.
That is held by somebody from 1960.
Altoon? That's not that far ago.
No, it's a guy I had never heard of ever in life.
Ed Too Tall Harris?
He was a Houston Oiler.
I feel like he was a defensive player.
Ed Too Tall Harris, sure. Yeah. It was Bill Groman. Bill Groman had the most receiving yards as a rookie.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
For the Houston Oilers. He caught 1,473 yards receiving.
Here's a
back
fun
in 1960.
Just because this whole off the rails, honestly, at this point, because these games are so bad. Here's a little blurb from Ed Too Tall Jones's Wikipedia. Edward Lee Jones, commonly known as Ed Too Tall Jones, due to his height. They better throw it.
Oh, it wasn't his hat? I figured it was because of his hat.
Yes, due to his height, He's a retired NFL football player. My God, Wikipedia, you are something.
Ed Too Tall Jones because of his height.
Not betting.
Bill Groman of the Oilers went for 1473. He followed that up with another 1,000-yard receiving campaign, and then went for 328, and then 437, and then 68,
like that Montana State
and then
coach
0.
from the 80s.
He really. It was all downhill after his rookie year.
That was a joke for one man and one man only.
Is that Dan?
Yes.
Because Dan knows your Montana State. What, Andy?
Bobcats.
What do you make of their chances against North Dakota?
I have not read the preview yet because it has not been published. Dan has written like 10 pages on this game. So if you want, is it published? Oh, it's up on the BETSPERTS site. If you want to read that, I'll make sure that the social puts that up on the page too. If you want to bet one more football game before we get to the national title game, you can bet the actual national title game between a team that had to play themselves through an actual bracket to get there.
An impressive performance, to say the least. So Najee Harris has 1,172 yards this season. He is just a scant 700 yards shy of the rookie rushing record. Let's go ahead and say he does not get it against the Ravens. Is that fair?
Hot take Drew's here today. Green Bay at Detroit.
I like Pittsburgh, by the way, at 5.5. That doesn't.
I kind of do like Pittsburgh. I
don't want to bet this crap.
Nobody wants to bet these games, but that's a bad number, I think.
You know what? I'm going to use them in contests.
Yeah, that's fair.
For pride.
Yeah, I'm not playing for any money in contests. I'll tell you that.
Almost finished 60% and not even fucking close in Circa. Not even close.
You got to be good and lucky.
60%. What the fuck?
All right, the playoff scenarios here are Packers have clinched the 1 seed, have nothing to play for. The Lions have everything to play for because they play tough every week. But the Packers have come out and said they're going to play their starters. Our friend Hector, Sports Heck, SH8,
yep.
has in his assumptions, he elaborated in one of the chats earlier, maybe even on Twitter, he said, I'm expecting Rodgers he modeled it with Rodgers and the starters for about a quarter and a half.
Okay.
I think I agree with him. I think
agree.
That's a fair assessment. So Packers first quarter, I don't think so in this one. They don't have anything to play for. Like the Packers have clinched the 1 seed. They do. The fact that they're doing this is they don't want to get rusty.
Iron sharpens iron. And you know what? Detroit, they bring the iron every week.
Yeah.
Every week they bring it.
And yeah, the Lions are going to try to get a touchdown to any offensive lineman that is eligible.
That'd be fun.
All the tackle eligibles.
That'd be sweet.
First touchdown score, Field.
Yeah, that's funny. We went through all of the coaching situations that are really, really dicey. And the 2-win Detroit Lions feels like Dan Campbell might have that job for a while.
He's solidified it. If he can get some smart people around him and some talent, he is
covering spreads.
There's different kinds of
making the people of Michigan happy, even though they're losing a million fucking games.
Yeah, there's there's the GM coach. There's the field general who makes the decisions on the sideline. There's the offensive genius who's also calling plays. And then there's the leader of men and Dan Campbell. God damn it. I hated him in the preseason, but he is getting this team fired up. Even if he's an idiot and he can't, make the proper decisions, he's just aggressive by accident. He's a decent motivator of these football players. And if he can get some talent and somebody calling some plays and a quarterback, this feels like a team on the upswing. I said it in the preseason.
That's a lot of ifs.
It's not a 1-year rebuild. And I said that in the preseason. I said I like where they're at. They have good draft capital.
Oh yeah. They fortified the trenches.
Yeah, they have 2 more years for 2024. Watch out.
They got a bunch of young players that's going to take them years to develop. Now they need to go get some guys who they can plug and play.
Here's a good thing too. 2011. I remember
that was that Green Bay team. Yeah.
Yeah, they rested everybody, and then Eli went and Eli'd.
And honestly, the Packers, what do you think of them for the NFC?
They're getting healthy. That's always a good thing. If they can stay that way, they can hang with anybody. The team is a little up and down for me sometimes. I don't know what to make of some of the decision making from LaFleur. Anyone remember the words decision making LaFleur in playoffs from last year?
Yeah.
Do you think Rodgers sits him down and just says, if you fucking pull any of that shit,
I think Rodgers has
better
that kind
just
of
trade me?
I don't think Rodgers has that kind of cachet with LaFleur. No way. LaFleur?
I bet couldn't he say something like, if you kick a field goal like that again, I'm just going full Antonio Brown. Shirts off and I'm walking off the field and you can have it. Have fun. Yeah, A-Rod might just tell the kicker to leave the field.
So
Get
Packers
off the field.
Packers are only plus 175 to win the NFC, even though they only have to win 2 games and they'll both be in Lambeau. And all of the other contenders are warm weather teams. Mm-hmm. On paper, that seems
except Philly.
That's true. That's a good point. On paper, that seems plus EV. But if I were to give you a free bet, Packers plus 175 to win the NFC, field minus 175. Free play. Which side are you taking?
Field.
Yeah.
It's a bad number. Like it's
200 minus 200.
Yeah,
are you there with the Packers?
They're overpriced.
Packers 2-1 versus field minus 200.
Oh, you're giving me vague free? I mean,
yeah,
are you going to give me this? I could lay this off somewhere else.
That's the
yeah, 225, 250.
Okay.
It's only 2 games there at home, but the rest of these teams are not that far from them. Like, Tampa, the 2 NFC West teams, they're not, and Dallas on the right day is not, multiple levels below the Packers, even on the road. So it's a little short for my liking.
Nick has a good question, and I'm curious what your thought is. Who is the one team Green Bay does not want to see in the NFC?
The kicking team. They want them on the sidelines. I'm just going kickers. Back to that. Yeah,
their own special teams.
They're special teams.
They don't want to see special teams.
I don't know if I love, I don't love them in a shootout. I like the way that they have run the ball. How do you feel about the Packers from behind? I think I'm fine with that.
I'm a little nervous about their run defense.
Yeah, but in coming from behind, if they have to stop a team from running, so a team that can run the ball.
I don't think they want to see the Cowboys.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cowboys, because other than that, who's your favorite running team in the NFC playoffs?
There's not one.
Yeah, it's the Cowboys.
Playoff Lenny ain't walking through that door healthy.
No, like we mentioned earlier in one of the chats, Tampa is throwing the ball at a stupid high rate.
Absolutely astronomical rate. Yeah, and they have not many pass catchers right now, which is sketchy. All
right,
they look pretty good from behind. No, I think realistically, the team is the Cowboys. But they should be able to beat the Cowboys. They should. They'll be a 3.5 point favorite against the Cowboys at home. But I think if you're going to tell them they can pick from the they're going to choose their own destiny here, I think they want to see the Rams come through. They want to see the Cardinals come through. I think they would take Philly coming through, no problem. I don't think they want to play San Francisco. I don't think they want to play Dallas if they had a choice.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play Dallas.
But I think that's where it'll ultimately come down.
Where'd you go? Oh, just heard your voice go to shit.
I think ultimately that's where it'll come down to. I think ultimately they may have to go through both. I think they may have to host San Francisco in the divisional round and then have to host Dallas.
Niners are a sneaky run team. They do it with different pieces. You do it with wide receiver and all kinds of running backs, and maybe even a little bit of some Trey Lance mixed in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right, I'm not betting this game. I'm not betting this game.
Jesus Christ.
This is a question I don't know if I have an answer or could quickly be answered, because some of it is speculation based and not fact, because we don't know this. The reports are out there, but have you ever watched a game on the final week of the season, week 17 normally, where both coaches are like know they're going to be fired and are heading against each other. That's a fucking weird dynamic. You can't do anything stupid like
it has happened.
I'm sure it has, but it feels weird. And yeah, you can't do anything silly because you want another job in the NFL. Or maybe Zimmer doesn't. Zimmer can go do some quality time with his Instagram supermodel thirst trap girlfriend. But Nagy probably can catch on somewhere as an offensive assistant pretty quickly. And it's a weird spot. And yes, why is this total 44.5? Kirk's back, baby. Kirk and Fields. Kirk is in. Fields is in.
Oh,
it's not something I'm going to bet. It's not something I'm going to watch. It's not something most Vikings fans will probably watch either. Vikings can't get to 500. Bears, again, both teams probably behooved to lose, but coaches are too stupid to do that. So don't bet this. Don't watch this.
You got me real curious now if there's ever been a head-to-head in the final week of the season where both coaches were certainly getting fired, and they're there. I just haven't.
Yeah, we'll have to hunt.
All right.
Jets Buffalo.
Yeah.
The Bills need this to win the division. I need this. This was looking like a certainty.
You shooting, Andy? You shooting for a middle?
I am. So Bills first quarter.
No,
Jets plus
taking
16.5. Yeah,
plus 16. Okay.
Add Buffalo to the schedule of first quarter / taking the points.
Taking the points. Okay, Buffalo.
Yeah,
it's out to a lead, and then the mighty Zach Wilson, after his horrific first quarter is over,
he
comes back
semi-passable at times last week, and this Bills defense isn't all it's cracked up to be. I think you have a pretty ugly first half, and then Buffalo runs away with it by attrition, just because they're a much, much better team. So let's go Buffalo Bills. Circle the wagons, get the division.
Buffalo wins this. There's a
points.
decent chance they finish as the 7th seed.
You mean if the Jets win this?
I'm sorry, yeah, Jets. Yeah, if the Bills blow this, the Bills may fall to the 7th seed, which would be wild. I think the Bills get it done personally, but this is not a hot take.
We got out on a branch crew today.
Yeah. I like the points though with the Jets, just as a little middle shot there. This one's gonna feel pretty good, right? Bills to win the AFC East.
Yeah, I laid like minus 140 with it today.
This one's gonna be pretty deep breath here.
Yeah. Hard exhale.
Yeah. A Bills win and Trevor Lawrence getting 12.5 yards for my guy Hef. That'll feel good for this week, if nothing else. Let's move on to Patriots Dolphins.
So
Dolphins
excuse me,
officially
Dan,
eliminated.
can you look back? Did you have that? Are these both late games? The Buffalo one as well?
425.
Okay, so again, playing at the same time, not knowing. I mean, they'll probably assume Buffalo's going to win the game, but you can't assume anything. You should play to win. You don't want to back into the playoffs. Another win. Does it affect seeding? I think 5 seed is not completely locked up because of the Colts are knocking. The Colts, if the Colts were to win and the Patriots lose, they'd have the same record and the Colts have the head-to-head. So 5 seed not locked up. So this is a need to win for seeding, and you hope the Jets do something crazy.
Yeah, although the difference between the 5 and the 6 seed is pretty
Negligible.
marginal.
Yeah.
Pretty negligible. But yeah, the fact that if you win and Buffalo loses, you win the division, I think is in the back of everyone's heads. And
the thing is too that the AFC playoffs are so wide open. I think you're right. The difference between the 5 and the 6 seed is negligible first round, but there's definitely scenarios where the Patriots and Colts meet in the AFC title game. And you feel a lot better playing in Foxborough if you're the Colts because you're an outdoor team. See how I went around course with that. I'm not betting this number. Like my numbers don't mean much right now. This is a tough spot for the Patriots every year, but this isn't your Tom Brady Patriots. This is a new regime with a very nifty young quarterback. I think they win. I don't know if they cover. I might just take the Patriots first quarter and then take the 6.5.
Funny question I have for you here, Andy. I posited this to some other folks today that Belichick would love to get his guy some more, continue to build on that confidence as they head into this playoff picture, right? Like he's working Jones, he's working Mac Jones, he's getting him up for this playoff game.
Yep.
In that regard, I don't think they take their foot off the gas at all. I think this is a matter of really, let's fucking go here. Like let's get what we can get.
I kind of like this under.
You kind of like the under? Because you think the Patriots defense
I think the Patriots really shuts down what Miami does.
Yeah, like 34-3 type of game.
Yeah, this does. It could just end up being a real ugly, like 21-0, where you never once, it's 7-0 for a really long time, and you never feel like Miami has a chance to get back in it.
Yeah. Okay. I think they would like to flex a little and keep Mac Jones's confidence on the upswing here as they head into a playoff matchup, especially if they have to go on the road. I think you are on the road here. You would love to get Mac Jones feeling good playing on the road, ride that right into the wild card round. A lot of people have noted Patriots typically don't play well when they go to Miami.
It's not usually this late in the season. It has been a couple times. Yeah, it's even worse when it's hot down there, it feels like.
It is, yeah. You know what? Where the exception to that is?
There's an exception to the rule?
Mac Jones. You want to know how he played last time he was in Hard Rock Stadium?
Did he win a national title?
He won a national title. He threw for 464 yards and 5 touchdowns.
As one does.
As one does. Did not win the MVP of that game. The MVP went to Devontae Smith, who caught 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. Classic receiver bias by the mainstream media voting. Classic wide receiver bias.
Real pain in my ass guy is what he is.
Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, just conspiring to keep Mac Jones off the award podium. Last time he was down there, it was some pretty good mojo, pretty good vibe. You want to know what day that was? It was January 11th. So basically 1 year ago, he was down there to the day. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sunday the 11th? Oh, no. Tuesday is the 11th. Sunday is the 9th. Either way, 1 year later, he returns to the scene of a national championship. I think the Patriots really do push a little bit in this one. If you're going to make a bet on a side, it's Pats or pass here.
Oh, Bama and Bama crime. Both these boys have won a title for the kids.
Was Tua?
I'm counting it because that was amazing. That was such a good ending. Unless you like the other team. Okay,
remind me what happened in that.
He came in and he beat him in overtime. Georgia, or was that an SEC title game? That was a title. Oh, that was a title game. That was fun. And again, like I said, I don't trust Tua to beat this defense. So this one's maybe a skip on the.
Oh yeah, no, it was 6-3 in overtime. It was, and that was in Atlanta.
That pass
Atlanta.
Was nuts. Like I'm like, oh my god, he's going for it all, and it was beautiful. I audibly I made a noise when that happened. Carolina takes on Tampa.
Wow.
Nothing to play for here.
Tua was the MVP of that game.
Christ, yeah.
There was no wide receiver bias in that one. Tua,
Jalen Hurts. All these Alabama Alabama can't make quarterbacks. You have a couple of them in the playoffs all of a sudden.
For what it's worth, Tua only 166 yards passing in that game.
He didn't play the whole game. Carolina at Tampa Bay. Speaking of college football national
Najee
title
Harris
game.
was in that game. Najee Harris was in college for an eternity. Jesus Christ.
He was. Wow, he played a little as a sophomore. LSU national title quarterback Cam Newton plays for this team.
Oh, sorry, Andy. I got to derail you one more time.
What?
Who did to a beat in that
Auburn.
national
Did I
title
say
game.
LSU? Auburn.
No, it was Georgia.
Jesus.
No, you said Georgia. You were
No,
right.
I just said Cam played for LSU. That's not.
Oh, he
correct.
played for Auburn. Yeah,
He played for Auburn. I was
And
thinking
Auburn beat who in that title game?
Oh God. It feels like it was somebody dumb from like the Pac-12.
It was.
Oh God, was it USC or Oregon?
No, not Pac-12. Sorry, Big 12.
Oregon.
Cam beat Oregon.
Dennis Dixon. Oh my God, callback.
Yeah, it was.
We were doing some Connor Cook talking earlier. God, we're
Um,
off the rails, guys. Carolina at Tampa Bay is Buccaneers by 8. Tampa Bay can help their seeding, or they fairly like if the Rams were to falter, which is not out of the realm of possibility, they could overtake the Rams.
I didn't even get to my derail question.
All right, derail me.
Who did Tua beat in the national title game? Who was the opposing quarterback?
It was Georgia.
No, yeah. Who was the opposing quarterback?
I mean, was it always been JT? It feels like it's been Barrett or JT Barrett. I said JT Barrett. Who's the guy that plays now? It's like the same guy, isn't it?
It's not. No, he did play last week.
It was Fromm. Yes.
It was Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm. State Farm. Yeah, Tua outdueled the mighty Jake Fromm in the national championship game.
As one does.
Now we get to see Bryce Young go up against JT Daniels. Who's even going to be the quarterback for Georgia in this one? Is it JT Daniels or is the other guy?
Oh, that midnight train, Georgia.
I don't even fucking know. All right, sorry, man. Carolina, Tampa Bay. I laid the points with the Buccaneers. 8's too short. Buccaneers own the Panthers. Doesn't matter if it's a shortened Buck squad in general. Buccaneers.
Yeah, did you watch the first? Go back and watch the first time these teams played.
It should have been a 50-point. It should have been a 50-point win for Tampa. Buccaneers, I know, are dealing with they're getting it done with the second, third unit in terms of weapons in the passing game. Does not matter. They are so superior. Tampa Bay wins by margin.
I'll give it to you here.
All right.
Tampa Bay first quarter.
Tampa Bay first quarter. But are you taking Panthers whole game?
These last two, New England
double digits.
New England and Tampa will only be Tampa and New England first quarter. Can't take the points on the other side.
You need double digits.
Those offenses can't score, and I need double digits. Correct. So, New Orleans at Atlanta. This is a game with playoff implications somehow, some way. And now, and we have not got to the Niners game. We'll get there next. The Niners need to lose, and a good way to do that would be to face a team who is better than you in the first place and has very good receivers and added a decent receiver in the middle of the season, and then to take all of your defensive backs and give them COVID. Like, the Niners are in trouble. We'll get to that game next. But right now, so New Orleans has to be loving this news. And I feel like the Niners lose by margin to the Rams, but New Orleans somehow botches this game anyway. It just turns into like what could have been. So, and yeah, I haven't said if those first quarter bets will be money line or spread. Right, both. Well, why not?
Do we know for sure? Well, let's get. God, I can't. Yeah. Okay.
Can you make a case for what's left of the Saints to lay points even in a must-win game on the road against a division team? I can't. Can you make a case for betting on the Falcons though?
Hell no.
I've done it a couple times. I'm close here, but I don't think I want it. You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do that day instead? Bet some college basketball.
Now we're talking.
Watch some golf.
I like this. I like it. Watch some golf. Big golf weekend. Golf is coming on. I hear a woo coming on. What?
I think people say.
It's a lyric from a Kanye West song.
Oh God, you don't do it very well. He sounds different.
I hear woo coming on.
That's a little better.
Yeah. Woo. God. The Saints Falcons game is a pass.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams Niners game is out to 4 for the Rams. Talk me through what exactly is going on with the Niners situation, and are we sure that these guys won't be cleared last minute to play on Sunday?
So early in the week, and I don't know how the new rules work. So I can't say one way or the other. But as of right now, it is looking kind of dire for the defensive secondary. And to be fair, wasn't one of their strengths to begin with.
Terrific.
So Rams are looking pretty wily here. And it seems like...
Why hasn't this market reacted?
I think maybe because of what you said is the Niners. Well, the Niners looked good on offense the other day, 2 weeks ago. And the fact is that we don't know really what's going to happen with the COVID stuff yet.
The Rams just played a team without a secondary, and they looked fucking like dog shit offensively. But this is not good. I'm looking at the depth chart right now. This is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be able to defend the run, rush the passer, and they're going to have me and you out there for covering passes.
You got to run on the balls of your feet when you're backing up.
Is that how it goes?
Play a little safety.
I've watched a lot of Cooper Kupp this year.
Oh my God! Can you imagine trying to cover him? It's like I'm not in safety shape. Put me a nose guard. This is a funny one too from Holt. Falcons over 7.5 wins somehow has life with a negative 100-point plus differential. Yes, they're the anti-Browns. When they win, they win by nothing, and when they lose by a million.
A million, yes.
Pretty funny team, honestly. I'm enjoying them.
They are wild. Don't know what to make of that feature of that franchise.
And the one point here too. I knew I had a couple of these. Thank you, Patrick. But Kupp's receiving, he can break the all-time whatever. Or is it the record? Does he already have the record? Does he need this, or is it like 2,000 yards? Remember, was it did Megatron get to 2,000? Was that who did it?
Yeah, he did.
That was a crazy season.
Real funny enough, I got distracted or derailed there by Holt. That he gave the Falcons credit. Their point differential is minus 136.
Yeah, he said 130 plus. I thought that meant like 108.
They have a minus 136. The Detroit Lions, the Giants, and the Jags and the Texans are the only worst teams. Oh, the Jets also. God, there was a lot of bad teams this year. Shit, man.
Yeah,
minus
we said there's a lot of parity in the playoffs.
Horrific.
There's a lot of parity in the lottery too. I know they don't do a lottery, but you know what I mean by that. Yeah, I don't want to bet this game early with the uncertainty. If you really think you have the news and you know that the Niners will be missing a glut of defenders, maybe take some Rams here. If that's your bag, but both teams will be playing for not only it's not, I'd say like when the team is just playing for positioning, like moving from the 2 to the 3 or the 3 to the 4, that's one thing. It's motivating, but an actual division championship is a lot more. That means a lot more, and it locks you into that 2 seed. So
okay, so Rams, a Rams win locks them into the 2, which means you get presumably you get the best matchup in round 1, which looks likely to be New Orleans if you knock out San Francisco. We will all be very, very. Actually, will you be upset? I guess if the 2-7 is Rams Niners rerun with the Niners at full strength defensively.
I kind of want
that.
I've been over this with you too. Like, I don't get upset about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't like it, but
all right. So I'm cheering for Atlanta. I'm cheering for the Rams, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rest of the NFL universe, NFC especially, is cheering for the Saints and cheering for the Rams because I think they would all like the Niners to be eliminated. I don't think anyone wants to deal with the uncertainty of that rushing attack, that pass rush, and whatever the heck they end up with at quarterback. Do you expect to see Jimmy Garoppolo take the field or Trey Lance in this game? Doesn't matter.
I think Jimmy's playing a little bit. I mean, Garoppolo, Lance looked okay in the second half at times, but boy, I don't know. That's why I'm not betting this game. I haven't really dug into the plan there. Just with all this secondary stuff, I said, well, I'm not even going to look into this game. I don't want to bet this. So I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Lance is what they're going with.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of maybe full steam ahead with him.
I have been unimpressed with the Rams rush defense in the last half of the season. They look like they can be out physicaled. And I think that the rush offense for the Niners can be dictating in this game. And I think that there is a real possibility, like you said, there's not as much for the Rams to play for here. If the Niners are pushing them around and are up big, you pull Cup after he gets his record, you pull Stafford so he doesn't get hurt, and you take your licks and you move on to the 5 seed. I think that's a very realistic outcome here if the Niners are playing well and if they are keeping the Rams out of the end zone.
And on the other hand, I think if you're going to scoreboard watch and the Niners, let's say it turns out bad, Lance looks like shit, the secondary is indeed out, the Rams are up by like 21 late, are you, as the Cardinals, in the third quarter looking at taking a slight quarterback who's been injured, a couple other players, and maybe getting their ass on the bench no matter what the score is versus Arizona or Seattle, because you can do nothing but be the 5 seed if you don't end up winning the division. There's no one who can overtake you. The 5 seed is yours if the Rams win. So, like, coaches won't say like, yeah, we're going to watch the scoreboard and play it by that. But like, if you check in at halftime and the Rams are up by like 24,
and you're tied or losing,
yeah,
everybody's off the mat.
You got to
Everybody's
start
off the field.
thinking about that. So there's a good reason to maybe just live bet the Seattle game if this one is going tits up for the Niners like that.
I agree with you 100%. And that's probably the most actionable angle I can think of this whole week.
Yeah.
Brooklyn decided to fucking play. Clown show.
I thought you said you were going to turn that off.
These clowns. I guess there's 7 minutes left. They managed to cover all.
To be fair, while you were talking, I parlayed Miami second half with Miami second half over.
Oh, really? In college basketball?
Yeah, I just like fucking around with that game.
That was because like Miami didn't tip off till 10, so I was confused.
Oh, no, college.
No. What's the score in that one?
69-64. It's on pace for both, but not by much. So it'll be a fun sweat for me.
Dude, I'm having trouble following college basketball right now. I'll be honest.
There's a lot of games, and then a lot of games get canceled. Speaking of Seattle, Arizona,
Nova looks good tonight. Nova's bouncing back like a fucking champ, huh?
We've got a good coach.
Alabama's the Waddle, Florida. Ouch. Eugh.
Arizona has something to play for. Like we said, only if the Rams are going to lose against the Niners. If it's, I absolutely, there's no reason not to scoreboard watch here.
No reason.
I think you go in, you game plan, hey, we're going to win this game because the Niners are absolutely live, because they, Cliff listens to us and he says, hey, guess what? They're an NFC West underdog. They're live to win this game.
Yep.
And yeah, you go in with a decent game plan. If you play your starters, you play to win, you should win this game. The Cardinals or the Seahawks have been really, really tryhards of late, and that sucks for you, but you still should be able to beat these tryhards at home. And yeah, this
second half under.
I was going to say 48's a lot too. If this game gets to the point where we think
I'm ready to fire on the second half under for any game where the scoreboard, the margin at halftime is double digits. I'm just going to blind fire second half unders this week. That's my angle. And the way your angle is first quarter chalk, I'm going to fire second half unders for every game where we have a margin greater than 10.
I'm with you.
No comebacks this week.
Don't call it a comeback.
Nope. 3-2-1 Cabo.
Been here for years. I'm done betting this. This is a live betting, and this is the thing. And he says, y'all trust Lance on the road versus Rams? No.
But it's going to be this thing about trust. So that implies that he's going to have to get it done through the air. And I don't think that he is. I think that they can run 70% of downs against the Rams team and find success. Do you disagree?
I do not.
You think they will not find success running 75% of
no, I think they can find success doing that.
Oh, okay. So you do agree?
I do. I concur.
No, you concur. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Lance Stevenson, really? Are you fucking shitting me? Oh yeah, no. Lance Stevenson is trying to win this game. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, Lance has got.
At this point, you want Lance taking every
he's
shot.
got it. Yeah. He's got his mojo going. He's got his mojo going. We got a 5-point margin. The cover is not out of reach. What a fucking.
What was the pregame on that?
I got 7.5, 8. Closed at 8.5 for 9.
I'm calling it a 14-point win. It's going to get out of hand here late. Yeah, don't.
It's a game of runs, Andy. Nets could still lose this.
Correlated parlay is both of these second half unders. If they go to halftime, or you can do an open parlay. If the Rams are up big, and then Arizona turns into Arizona running the clock out, and the Rams turning into let's run the clock out and get this win. 2 second half unders, very correlated. I like it double. I love a halftime parlay, as you can tell from my Miami thing. But yeah, not a game I can bet pregame. This is a live bet game, other than maybe under 48.
Cool.
You might look at this. The second half might be 20, and just because of how they have to set this after certain things happen. So Chargers Vegas. I do not believe we're going to get the scenario where they both kneel it out 15 consecutive drives and do the draw, because first off, I don't think the Jags win, and that's a prereq for this, but also I think Roger would lose his shit. Like, they'd get a call in the first quarter, and like Roger,
it's like,
I don't know what he would
play in the NFL again.
Yeah, I will come there, and I mean, just say some horrible shit.
We're gonna discover a dead hooker in your bedroom tomorrow, and you're never playing the NFL again. Yeah,
taking you to international waters. But yeah, you should get a good game. This is a higher total for Week 18, 49.5.
It is a higher total.
Chargers -3. And then, yes, both teams need a win. This is fun that it's the late game. It was painfully obvious that it would be the late game. And I'm pretty jacked for this, all things considered. I bet against the Raiders to get more than 7.5 wins. That didn't work out for me. C'est la vie. I don't want them to win this game. Although, who would you rather be able to fade? Let's just assume right off the bat, your Chiefs are the 2 seed. And we'll assume the Colts win, and we'll assume this is your 7th seed.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have face the Chiefs in Arrowhead for an actionable angle? And do you think the market really did catch up on the Raiders for a third time? Here's actually the question. All right, Raiders win this game they're in. They head to Arrowhead. What is the biggest number you would lay with Kansas City?
13.5, probably.
I was gonna say it's still like 2 touchdowns. You have to think about it. Like,
I would think about 14. Honestly.
This defense just doesn't match up with them.
I would think about 14. Yeah,
it's something.
Yeah. For an entertainment standpoint, I desperately want the Chargers. For a betting standpoint, I'd rather have the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think you hit it on the head. I'd agree with both those takes. I'd like to see Herbert in a playoff game.
Andy, riddle me this. Who is the last interim coach to coach a playoff game?
Arians.
When Chuck had the
Chuck Pagano had cancer. That team made the playoffs, I thought.
They did. I think you're right.
Did I pull that one?
I think you're right.
Bruce. A couple people in the chat said it too.
I think
Good
you're
job,
right.
guys.
I think it was Arians, but that was a very different circumstance.
I can't think of any other scenario where an interim head coach usually implies the team has done bad
so poorly that the guy has gotten fired.
Yeah, I mean, this was obviously very different circumstances with Chuck getting sick, and yeah, Arians did win Coach of the Year that year. That kind of, I mean, that was big for his career. As much as you hate to see sad circumstances like that be the windfall for somebody else, and good for Bruce for taking that team and leading them that year.
And as far
that's wild.
Chuck's cancer free,
right? And Chuck came through.
Okay.
Yeah,
damn,
Fakachi
what a
in the playoffs
wild
would be
one.
something. I'd rather see Herbert and those receivers and all that. I mean, just give me that. That's way better.
It is. It's great.
142.
I like the over in that one.
Okay.
Personally, I've lost some overs against the Raiders. Oh, betting on the Raiders offense, betting against the Raiders defense this year. I will admit it.
You've lost some totals on the Chargers too this year.
I've lost some totals.
They have been weird for you.
They have been weird for me. Yeah, both of these teams. I'm not especially proud of my performance trying to handicap their games. And I think the lesson I'm learning is next season, I'm just going to try to avoid the teams that are more correctly going for it on fourth down because they're higher variance games and they're higher variance outcomes for both points and totals. And, for both side and total, I think it's bad to get involved with these. But I already bet it, so I'm on the over. I don't have any equity yet. I'm at 49 flat. 49.5 is basically the same. 50 at circa. So market trending with me. Any COVID issues to deal with?
I agree with you, but not enough to bet it.
Okay. We'll come up with something at halftime. How about that?
I agree with that.
Yeah, now we're talking. Oh, for Christ's sakes, guys. The Nets aren't going to cover. They're just going to win ugly. Like they're doing this win ugly thing.
And playoffs are right around the corner. You know what that means? Guests.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring some people in and talk to them. Might be some goofy
cool.
times, especially if we have to bring someone in from a different goddamn country.
Yeah, which may happen.
We'll have to talk to him yet. But yes, some guests for the playoffs. Might do some different kind of episodes. Might talk just playoffs.
Playoffs.
And I think our Sunday podcast, it becomes a whole different kind of podcast because we're not going to sit here and recap the Bears-Vikings game on Sunday night. Ain't nobody want to hear that.
No.
So a lot of it is just going to be like, here's the seating, and we'll probably do a first dive on some of the pricing. I know there'll be some adjustments to the Super Bowl and conference title markets. We'll make some assumptions on those, and any secret pod play team total. Chargers over.
No, I like the Niners over 19.5 better.
Okay.
Because Niners aren't going to pull. The Niners are not pulling their guys.
No.
There's no outcome where the Niners stop trying to score. And it's 19.5. That's my favorite team total on the board.
All right, I'll go with it. San Francisco treat.
19.5.
Off.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, 7-point margin in Indiana.
3:16 on the clock.
It's going to be a sweat, guys. Turns out that price was fair. I shouldn't have bet that game. Although, I got to tell you what, looking across the association tonight, what are we watching? The hell is going on here? Dallas is going to beat the Warriors by 9. What? Super low scoring game. I had that under. That was fun. Did Philly hold on? Philly did hold on. Did Philly get the cover? They won by 10. Holy shit. I need
7 more points in the final minute and a half.
Philly's closing lineup is really, really, really strong. Everything else about Philly is really unsatisfying. And they covered, even though they were awful through most of that game. Charlotte just dominating. Detroit is a sad state of affairs. Houston wins outright versus Washington. Didn't see that coming. San Antonio beats Boston.
This is evergreen.
A very low scoring game. Wow. Oh, Medvedev Berrettini.
I can't do it.
What?
I'm looking at Dan.
Oh, ending the podcast?
He's trying to get me to get you to stop talking NBA.
Oh,
we can't do it. I know, I'm just giving you shit.
I got a super important question before we wrap.
I absolutely would love to answer your questions. There'll be there'll be a follow up. I'm assuming.
Did you do an approaching the green this week?
No. We're gonna probably kick it up in a week or two here. I'm gonna retool it. Actually, our friend Logan asked about that. He's like, "Are you gonna play golf on Nintendo again this year?" Yeah, I like it. No, I will be doing it.
Check out our friend Logan's thread on the
very good thread.
Very
Logan Matthews,
very
good
useful.
stuff. I'm going to attempt to show up the pro bettors in golf by beating the golf market as it closes every week by getting the worst of the number. Join me on my journey of Andy betting. Bet the worst of the number with Andy. First golf preview comes out on the morning of the tournament tomorrow. Just because I had a busy week. But no, approaching the green will be back. I'm going to bring in a guy to help me with it who can actually talk about the course. Because Pam and I were just like, hey, here's some bets we like. I'd kind of talk about the course, but we've got an actual golf nerd who really, really has a lot of information about these courses. I think could be beneficial, and then we'll probably talk some betting and DFS too.
Hell yeah, man! I can't wait. I was excited to learn or to know if I didn't. I didn't ask just because I didn't want to be disappointed if it wasn't good.
Oh no, and there's more golf content to come. Spoiler alert!
Yes,
fun year with golf.
I have a bold prediction for 2022.
Let's give it to me.
It's going to be a big year for golf betting.
Yeah,
it's going to be a big one.
Everybody merged onto that.
It's such a perfect handshake with NFL.
It is.
It's so easy.
I think it was Brady Cannon that said that to me.
It's so easy.
He's like, I love it so much because it's like, hey, the Super Bowl's over. Oh, look, a golf tournament from here until opening week.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's such a good but you don't have to pay attention every single day like you do in tennis or basketball. Like you can kind of be a casual. The golf handles are going to be impressively awesome. I predict this summer people are wildly impressed by the golf handle.
And I have Circa down in Iowa now.
Ooh, that's exciting.
They have some shitty numbers, and it's not like they're bad at betting or putting golf prices up, but they're so insistent on having low hold that you can basically any long shot you want bet it at Circa.
I thought you were more of a head-to-head guy than an outright guy. I thought you just did the outright for the kicks.
I hit like 6 of them last year. Now I'm addicted. I hit two in the same week.
You and Cal, man.
Oh my god, they're like crack. I hit 2 in the same week, Drew. I had Barbasol Sheamus and Morikawa at the U.S. Open. Yeah, the U.S. Open.
It was Morikawa at the Open.
No, the Open. Excuse me. Yes, the British Open.
The Open.
Can't play, but in the font where you're doing some capital letters and parts of it. But I was told Morikawa couldn't play links golf. That's because he never had. Turned out he was just really good at golfing, which is a thing. So all right, we'll catch you back here for Thursday Night Football.
Congratulations on 18 weeks of doing this, Andy. 18 weeks.
Yeah,
it's over. Congrats. We did it. It's over.
We'll do some playoff stuff now.
Yeah, we're here. We did it.
Let's fucking mix it up for the playoffs.
Congratulations to the Nets who have the ball with 1:15 to play in a 10-point lead.
And Miami minus